Welcome to Accounting High.
What are some of the other sources of unhappiness in the accounting profession that you're seeing?
Saying yes to everything, which then results in employees who have way too much work to do. Improving that by saying no to things and saying like yes to this is what we work with. Is this gonna work into my workflows? Do I need to create a whole new workflow to make this client fit? Then that's probably when you should be saying no.
If you know what to say yes to, then everything else is a no.
Welcome back to our class. It's the guide. Please take a seat. Step into this unique guidance session. Navigate with me. It's the capital S. Oh yes, I'm fresh. C-O-O-T. Y apostrophe OKR apostrophe. You see? Yeah, janitor Scott coming to you live from the closet with a bucket and a mop. So find a cozy spot. We all want financial freedom. ACCOUNTINGHIGH. Preach. Putting this course together. Sit back, relax, open your mind. Classes in session. Guidance class at Accounting High.
Introducing the star of our show.
Scotty and Sam.
We're gonna have a problem here.
Class is in session. I've got with me Sam, aka Samantha Musser. Sam, thank you for joining us at Accounting High.
Thank you, and thank you for not making me rap at the beginning. That might have
Oh,
been
I'm not even rapping at the beginning. That's my alter ego. That's not even me.
Oh,
That's
right,
that's
right, right.
OKR. Yeah. Oh, this is going to be great, students. You're in for a treat here. We're going to talk about being happy today, being a happy accountant, and the pursuit of happiness with the happiness maestro herself, Samantha Musser. Samantha, you're coming here at Accounting High I'd say about a month after I first noticed who you were on LinkedIn, along with the rest of the world. You had a lot of massively popular posts recently aimed at the accountant community. Lots of different things that we talk about on the show, but one caught my eye because it talked about being happy. And honestly, this resonated with the world because I don't think a lot of accountants are happy. Why do you think your posts are resonating so much with people in this world?
Yeah, I think exactly what you said. It was crazy because this year I finally got that I have like the accountant voice for accountants versus the accountant voice for clients. And that's made a huge difference in who I'm resonating with and honestly what I'm trying to do at the end of the day. And I think my posts right now are resonating a lot because I am talking about how you can actually make your own accounting world fun and you still enjoy it versus it being that grind known for the accounting world.
For a lot of the world, a lot of the professional service business worlds, but you feel like you've cracked the code on creating a happy accounting firm and what it means to be a happy accountant. If there is a code for that and you have cracked it, I would love to get the combination. So let's start talking about what that code is. But Samantha, first and foremost, I know you've been in the profession for a little while. You've only had your firm for less than a year. Tell me about your history in accounting, I guess how you got started, how you became a CPA. You can go
Yeah.
back as early as high school.
Well, I'll go back to college. I started college in fashion merchandising. I'm in the Philly region, and I did not fit in with fashion merchandising. I was not cutthroat enough. I'm an accountant after all, an
What is
introverted
fashion
one.
merchandising?
That's the business side of the fashion industry. So it's like those New Yorkers, you know, you got to be living in the city, get that fast paced life. I'm like living on the land, country girl, try to get my country twang in here that I don't even have when we're talking about this, introvert type. And you have to take accounting classes in that since it's school of business. So I was thriving in those, and the teachers were like, come on, you got to do accounting. So that's what I started to do. And I just kind of switched over to that. I have been in accounting for my whole industry then. I did tax at a firm. I did audit at a firm. I was in private as a controller. And then I came back into public accounting in the whole outsourced accounting world, which is what I really liked. I love working with the business. I liked being a controller. I didn't just like doing it for one company. So this outsourced accounting world is what I loved, working with the businesses. And I feel like this is where you really understand business in accounting versus tax and audit. they're a whole different animal. And that's what I've been building since then. I was at a firm that I started in 2016, working in their outsourced accounting department, had a lot of room to grow that and do some cool things, but it was still part of your traditional CPA firm. So it was really hard to make things different with outsourced accounting when you're still working with a firm that's the traditional tax and audit. They have a whole different workflow and life in terms of busy seasons and stuff that doesn't need to happen in outsourced accounting. So it was really hard to break that mold in that kind of firm. So that's what led me to wanting to start my own firm that focuses on this, where you really can create the balance of loving accounting but still having a life.
Accounting was a happy accident for you. It sounds like you otherwise may have been in fashion. And I found one of the codes, or at least one of the codes to becoming a happy accountant is not doing tax. It sounds like that is probably the key that you've cracked is stay away from tax, stay in accounting, and build a practice that way. Was that one of your cornerstones?
It was, just because tax season was just not the life for me, especially I have kids, had them younger, so it just didn't work to have those months be crazy like they were. So I was like, okay, tax, it's great that I knew you. I'll just know you from
Peace out.
afar. Yeah.
Right. You had been doing the outsourced controller thing for a little while. So you wanted to go do that and that alone. What gave you the confidence, and why did you go start your own firm instead of just going trying to find a practice to work at?
So I did do that at a firm for 2016 to 22, I think it was, is I was doing that at a firm and basically running it for the firm. So that's where I had the comfort to try and fail and still have the support of being at a firm to do all of that. But I spent all of that time learning all of the things that I finally felt comfortable that, I can do this for myself instead of running it for a whole firm of partners. Do it for myself.
Did you have any clients on your own? Did you start out from nothing?
So I had gone to 2 firms since that big firm I was at and saw what things were like there. And then that's when I really decided to go on my own. I had 2 clients that I kicked off my firm with that I had brought to another firm. So I kind of negotiated that to have some level of comfort getting into the firm. And then from that, everything has been just growth from there. So it's been crazy, but good.
What are you doing for those 2 clients, and how much were you charging them?
Those 2 clients both came in at $2,000 a month each, and it was like a weekly touch them once a week, update their QuickBooks, pay bills, and then monthly financials is just a total standard thing that would be done.
So you built your firm around that. Were they similar industries? What kind of industries were these businesses that you worked with?
One was a professional service firm, an architect, and then another was a small family office. So had a consulting company, but then a few real estate like basic real estate entities. So 2 different things that I was focusing on there.
Was there a common theme of people that you wanted to build your practice on or grow with? Was it a type of industry or client persona?
I feel like this has changed so much in the past. So I started in July, so we're in May here. This has changed so much throughout the past, but it's so much based on how people will work is what I really focus on right now. So if they're QuickBooks Online, they're able to be structured where it's like those 2 clients, for example, one would be every Tuesday, one would be every Wednesday. So people know like when their set day is. They're not going to be but I need you every day kind of person. They are like typically a service based or something like that. I really just have some industries I don't focus on specifically, like nonprofits or manufacturing and just technology advanced type people. So if they fit in that, I feel like they can typically fit into the flow of how I want to work and do things, that it makes it easy to have multiple industries.
Now, building your practice, do you have any employees?
I do. I hired someone in the Philippines quite a few months ago, and she has been amazing. I have a firm that I outsource through, and it's great.
And you're doing all of this from the comfort of your home.
Yep.
No office, no traveling, no commuting, fully remote. How many clients do you service right now?
Right now, we are up to 18.
18 clients. And
Yeah.
what's the average that you're charging per client?
I think it works out to be about $1,000 a month.
That's pretty diverse, but you're finding mostly service-based, technology-forward type people?
Yeah, I have quite a few that are like a content creator, like writer, things like that. So I do have a mix that are those weekly clients, and then a few that are just a super simple monthly care about their financials, but it's so easy for us.
You mentioned in the beginning that you have a specific voice for clients and for accountants. Is that how you approach your marketing?
Yeah, now it really is. I never really got the chance to do that prior to having my firm because I was like so inundated with the work and like running internally that I never got to do that. Now I'm realizing like how fun the marketing side really is. My website and all of that, you'll see it's, I mean, very pink, very non-traditional accounting firm. So I think right there I'm trying to attract non-traditional or newer, earlier, fresher businesses, also women owned. I'm trying to attract that with the pink, but it doesn't have to be. Then in terms of how I talk, I mean, LinkedIn is really the only other way I'm marketing myself. So how I talk on there is like, this is what you could be missing, here's how you could catch it, kinds of thing, and just trying to talk in real basic terms to business owners to show like what could be wrong with their accounting and that I can explain it in easy to understand words. And then with accountants, really just sharing like what works for me, because starting my firm from scratch, I'm realizing, yeah, I'm starting from scratch, but I've done this since 2016 that it was actually way more seamless than I thought it would be in terms of starting a firm. So like, here's the things I found coming from a traditional firm and now starting my own firm. Like, this is what works, this is what doesn't work, this is how it's so much better or not, and all of those things.
I love the name, Chime CPA. It's youthful and it's fun and it's happy. Tell me one of the things that you thought would be harder than it actually was starting a firm. You almost said it was easier than you thought it would be. What were some of the things that you thought were going to be very difficult that turned out it wasn't that bad?
The processes. I really have tried a lot of different things that getting processes to be like standardized and all has been a lot easier than I thought it would be.
That's not too easy for a lot of business owners. What types of processes did you put in place with an employee, which is not very common?
Yeah, I mean, like the minute I could afford to have an employee, I hired one because I knew I would go crazy if I was doing all of the work. I love like accounting, but I don't love doing the work all day. So I brought her in, and that honestly made the difference because I was able to focus on the processes and making sure, like seeing what needs a process, now having an employee here to talk through with things and seeing like what doesn't work or what needs something to be fixed. So like our workflow process, we're using Monday.com. And I have someone who is helping me build that out, and just having professionals build things with me. That's the other thing I'm realizing is like life-changing. I was always I can figure this out. Like I'll figure out how to do Monday. I never used Monday at a different firm. I always thought I could just figure stuff out. But now I have someone who like, this is what he does. The things he's showing me is like, I can't believe how manual I did things throughout the rest of my career and stuff. So it's like that light bulb of other professionals. I mean, we're preaching like, let the accountants do the accounting work. Let other professionals do the work, and it's amazing for what it does for your business.
How did you find this person? Was it like an implementer?
It was a LinkedIn recommendation. I think I must have did some post asking, like, does anyone use Monday.com? And someone said, oh, this guy will help you out. Amazing.
Oh, wow. That's so cool. Let's start talking about being a happy accountant. So you started this not too long ago and it's still in development, but you've got the URL, beahappyaccountant.com, reinventing the accounting industry one smile at a time. Tell me about the inception of this. You're still fresh starting your own firm, less than a year. First, what gives you the credibility to tell people how to run a firm? And also, how do you have the time to do two things?
I know, I'm crazy. But I do. It's the processes and my person, hiring a person, I tell you. This started because I was realizing that, I started this firm and it actually came easily to me, which I don't think that's normal. I hope that's
No,
not
it's
normal.
not.
So, and then me realizing that I was talking to accountants, that's who I was really talking to on LinkedIn, and people were coming into my DMs like, how do you do this? Can I bounce ideas off you? I think I want to start my own firm. I'd love to talk to you. I was getting a lot of that activity that I'm like, I really want other people to have this same level of happiness and comfort. I don't care about giving away what I'm doing. I can't service everyone. So why not allow other people to create similar firms, make it easier for them, because it's taken me since 2016 to figure out how to do this smoothly to a degree. All of my experience is showing that I know what I'm doing, since I've been able to now prove it by starting a firm that is just continually growing, and it's not like the craziness that I've experienced at other firms. Having 20 clients or close to that, I feel like would be crazy for one staff person and a person running their business, but how we structure things and how we have processes in place makes it, my person still has time. So it's, yeah.
One thing they say about professionals, they tend to forget the foundational knowledge that they gained in the beginning. This is something that you just started and you have that foundational knowledge fresh. You've got the lens and the mind to say, this could be useful for somebody else. Mm-hmm. And it's easier now than it ever has been to spin up and start your own practice. There are enough clients out there in the world and not enough accountants. More clients than there are accountants. Plenty of business out there for everybody. So that's exactly what you're doing. You're fixing the pipeline problem here by doing this. Telling people it could be easy and it could be happy. That's the perception most people have of accountants, is boring, dull, and also not in a very good mood. That's the perception of accountants out there. And you're here to change that. So tell me about getting this started. What did you do? How did you even start up the website? Who are you learning from on this side of the coin here?
Yeah. I'm honestly learning from someone not even remotely close to our industry, a social media influencer who does the whole digital marketing thing. Crazy. One of those ones where it's I'll show you how I make $2 million in a year by selling digital products. She actually shows her stuff that it's a real one. So she does courses, and I went through a course. I was the only accountant in the course. There was no one else. People were real estate agents and stuff like that. But that's who I learned from, and she motivates me all the time with what she's doing. It's a very different industry, and I'm not really in it for the same reasons or the same look, but it's a whole different world to learn how to create and build courses and things like your workflow, comment this word so that you'll get this thing, and oh gosh, all of that. Now that is what's hard to me. I'll build an accounting firm every day.
But building this, are you saying that this is actually, you're finding this pretty difficult to build?
Oh yeah, this is way harder, just because it is building processes that are not like accounting processes. This is totally different.
Yeah. Well, you seem to be doing well on the socials too. Does she coach on how to post and what to post on the social platforms too?
She's more Instagram based, and LinkedIn I've kind of been coaching myself and just following people that I like and what they've been doing and kind of learning from that. I've been trying to do that since 2019 and learning as I go.
Sure. So what are some of the goals to this Happy Accountant platform?
I mean, my biggest goal is to create a course that fully shows how to build a firm, like processes, how I do things, all of that. And that's my big goal, to have that so other people can feel comfortable in doing this and feel like, okay, I can actually start my own firm. Something they've been thinking about, they can actually take the action and do it.
What are some of the things that you're doing now in the course? Because that course isn't done yet. Are you creating a full playbook on how you run your practice?
Yeah, it'll be showing, like, I'll give insight on how I use Monday. I referenced that before. Other softwares that I use within my tech stack and exactly how I use them. And also give other options too. Like, it doesn't have to only be the things I use. I've used so many softwares, like why this one, it could be good or not.
Now let's dive a little bit deeper on what makes this happy. I've spoken to a lot of people that build courses and teach accountants how to develop their practice and build their firm. I haven't talked to anybody that's taking this happiness angle. Are you using that as a filter with everything you're doing and asking, well, what does this have to do with being happy? Or is that just part of the brand?
You know, it's funny. I talked to someone who I was talking to them about, like, potentially doing services with them, and they said something like, well, why do I care if my accountant's happy? Like, I don't know. Like, she kind of made it feel like, why is that such a big deal? And I was like, wow. Like, it almost made me, like, second guess things, like, oh my gosh, do people really not care about this? And then later I was like, no, that person just doesn't care. Like you mentioned before, people feel like talking to their accountant is like, if I even can talk to my accountant, like, they're not even going to enjoy it. So I am going to, like, remain the happy accountant because it is a twofold thing. Like, I want it to be that people feel like their accountant is really a part of their company. Like, the enthusiasm I have right now, like, that's what it is like in my client meetings and stuff like that, because I get excited to help them. Then I also want it to be that my employees or other employees in accounting firms are happy, like, having the ability to work in this, have multi-client, multiple companies and stuff. You can still, like, be happy doing that versus feeling like, I need to go into corporate to have a life.
Well, it sounds like you're also inserting that gratitude, and you can be happy and proud of what you've built, and you don't want to let people bring you down. So there are some people that are just not about all this happiness stuff. They're grumps, and they try to bring everybody else down. That might have been why that person asked you that question in the first place. What do you need happiness for? You don't need this. You just need to work. You just need to make money. Like, that's how most people approach businesses. Business is not a place to be happy. You can't have fun in business. You got to separate that. Go have fun on your own time. That's how most people run their businesses too. The next generations of the world that are coming into business, the next generation of accountants, they don't want to keep that separate. They want everything to be part of their life, and they want everything to be happy and building toward a purpose. And that's what you've done. You've created a business with a purpose, two businesses with a purpose. Yep. And that's very difficult for a lot of people to find that happiness. So cracking the codes here is no tax, but also be happy. It sounds lame, and it sounds like that's hard to do, to just be happy. But if you're grateful and you have some driving purpose, you can just be happy. It's a choice. Happiness, is it not?
No, it is. And you know what I realized that I think I haven't actually put out there in a while is that I've had the happy accountant persona for more than just, like, the time period of me owning my firm. Like, I took that on years ago. And when I was doing things that weren't keeping me the happy accountant, that was my sign, like, okay, this isn't the right thing.
How did you get the moniker? Who started calling you the happy accountant?
I think it was myself, honestly. I don't know. I think maybe that's what I wanted to be. Like, okay, I want to be a happy accountant. I mean, I have had from the firm.
I'm sure you've had people in your life tell you, why are you so happy? Or how are you so happy?
I was called, like, Smiley by someone for a while at another firm. So I think that kind of induced it too. I mean, yeah.
It's part of who you are on the inside out. You pull that nickname together. That's like your rap name, the happy accountant. Or alter ego, right? Like I said, I've got my alter ego. You may not be rapping, but that's sort of like your brand now too. It's not sort of, it is your brand, and you've
Yeah.
taken that on, and and like I said, it's resonated too. So what are some what are some things that make you happy about this? Like people called you smiley, you called yourself happy. What was making you happy back then?
I think working with clients where you actually know you're making a difference with them. Like when you get those comments that's like, oh, this has been keeping me up so long and now now I feel like I can sleep easier. I've had someone say like, I feel so empowered now to make decisions about my business because of XYZ, whatever we did. So things like that make you love accounting and the work that you do with clients to make you want to keep doing this and find ways to keep doing it that will still like feel good versus feeling like you're just putting in the hours.
How about the times when people don't appreciate what you do? I'm sure you've run into that where people are just not grateful at all, and it doesn't feel like you're making anybody's lives better. What do you do during those pits?
There are those clients where it's like you can't care more than the client. Lessons you've had to learn over the years, lessons I've had to teach staff people so many times, like, hey, if this client's not answering you, you can't care more than they do. Just do what you can to get good enough out there for them. And if they don't care, they don't care. Let's not waste our energy on them. And I mean, there is a point that it's like, is this even worth being a client for us? Or is it fine to have as a space filler to just get the work done? And that's that. But I wouldn't be able to survive with a firm of all of those, that's for sure.
It's still pretty early, but have you ever let a client go, fired somebody, or not taken on a client because of that?
Yeah, I mean, I had one of my early clients just in this firm that it really like wasn't the right fit for either of us. And we both just agreed that it was me taking something out of these are my things I want to do, just because you kind of say yes to all these things when you're starting a firm. Those are the times when I've had it be a client that doesn't work, being something that's yeses when they should have been no's up front. It always ends up being that.
Tell me some about those core values at your practice. I mean, you mentioned that a little bit. I'm sure happiness has got to be one of them. What are some of the others?
So, I'm not sure if we talked about this. You mentioned you love the name Chime. Chime is my core values. So it's communication, happiness, innovation, meaning efficiency. So that is how I came up with the name, yes.
Wait a second. So the name, those core values existed before the name, and you saw the acronym somewhere mixed in them?
The name, I knew I needed communication and happiness. So I can like distinctly picture the moment my husband and we were at the beach on the deck talking about this. And I was like, okay, we need a C and an H. Here's all these other words. Like I had a whole list of words, like all different things I liked. Chime. We came up with Chime.
Were there wind chimes on the deck that you guys were on at
No,
the
that
time?
would be crazy.
That would be really cool. I can hear the wind chimes now. When you said the deck, I heard the wind chimes out there. So you've got a great acronym that packages all of that together for your practice. How is it working amongst your one team member? Is it something that she shares? Do you guys talk about that?
We don't talk about it like specifically like, hey, you're really doing great with meaning right now. But thinking about her, she does embody all of those. And she is like, she's always thinking of ways to be more innovative. She has direct communication with clients and giving them meaningful conversations. She's way more efficient than I am. So that's magical. And her communication she communicates before communication is needed, which is amazing. And then, I mean, of course, the happiness is there.
The happiness has to be there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the path now, or what's your growth trajectory at least? Like, when are you going to need to hire somebody? What's this firm going to look like this time next year?
I am in the process of I'm on that borderline waiting for maybe one, maybe two more clients to have my next person. So I do have this wonderful thing going for me right now where I have multiple people who kind of just want to come in, but I don't have the work for them yet. So hiring's easy for me right now. I know it won't always be that way. So I'm trying to build the work for the people. Next year, my goal next year would to be at 4, maybe 5 if we're crazy employees.
Okay. If we're crazy. Yeah. And does that mean all Philippines, or would you potentially be hiring in the U.S. as well?
No, I'm going to do a mix. Like right now, if I hired today, I'm really between a Philippines person and a U.S. person. So it's really going to be like what the client mix is and what I feel like I need at that point.
Okay. One thing that you do at your firm, I noticed you've talked about in a post or two, was you don't track time. You listed out a lot of things that you can do and a lot of things that you're getting out of your firm without time. And I think that's all true when you only have 2 people. But what happens when you have 10 people?
I never want to track time again.
Okay.
That is one of the things that makes me so happy. And I think it makes employees very happy too. I truly have no idea how much time she works right now, my other employee. I don't know how much time I work right now. And we try to not work on Fridays too. We try to have Fridays be like, if you have stuff left over, just finish that. But otherwise, you're not working on Fridays. Mm-hmm. My thought process, it'll be proven with more employees, is with how we structure our weekly clients. If we're saying, okay, this is a Thursday client, and we have an idea that it's like, this probably will only take like 2 to 3 hours, so we can schedule 2 of these on a day or whatever. If those schedules aren't working out, then we know there's an issue with the clients. So that's kind of replacing the thought of time tracking it to figure out if things are working or not. So I think structure is going to replace time tracking, hopefully.
Keeping those processes and the structure and the systems in place as you scale or as you grow. I made a lot of mistakes. This is why we're tracking time. It sounds like you came in with the PTSD of, I don't ever want to do this again.
Yeah, I did.
I thought it was very interesting to see the reaction that you got from that post, because that also, it's resonating with a lot of accountants. Accountants are not happy, and tracking time is one of the reasons they're not happy. You always hear, I hated this last firm because we tracked time. I think that there's other deeper rooted reasons behind that, but at the end of the day, most people point to that as one of their main sources of stress.
Well, and I feel like if a firm is really using the time tracking, they're looking at these metrics and all of that. This time tracking isn't even correct. People are fudging it to like be what they think should be like seen by them. So it drives me crazy.
We know this. Let's not dwell on that. I just think that's also one of the sources of unhappiness. What are some of the other sources of unhappiness in the accounting profession that you're seeing?
I think it's saying yes to everything. So firms would always just take on like every tax return, every client, say yes, like, oh, you want us to do X, Y, Z, which we have never done before? Sure, we can do that. The saying yes to everything, which then results in employees who just have way too much work to do. Or it's like forgetting to factor in all of the extra time, like, okay, maybe this task really could just take a couple hours, but since we've never done it before, it's going to take a couple days. All of that makes it so unmanageable to ever feel like you have your feet beneath you. So I think improving that by actually saying no to things and saying like yes to this is what we work with is a big difference.
How do you say no? It's very hard. I had to write a whole rap on that, and I still have trouble doing it.
I mean, here I am, like I say this, but I'll probably say yes to something that doesn't fit like tomorrow.
You said yes to doing this podcast, recording with me, right?
That's true. No, I think it is really thinking about like, what's this going to do to my firm? Is this going to work into my workflows? Do I need to create a whole new workflow to make this client fit? Then that's probably when you should be saying no.
Oh, really? So even early on, because most people early on don't know that they have their workflows established, and they don't know if this next opportunity is going to be the one like that changes everything. So they tend to say yes more just because of the opportunity and maybe to fill their space and all of that. So you're saying come with it with intention and create the workflows and the systems that you're going to do because you don't need to create any new ones. Is that
I
fair?
mean, that's theoretically what should happen. Yeah.
One thing I found is if you know what to say yes to, then everything else is a no. So if you have a clear type of client that you're going to work with and a clear mission and purpose and thing that you're working toward, then everything should go toward that one goal. And if it doesn't, then it should be an easy, it just falls right off. This isn't made for me. You can become a specialist in something. Right now, do you consider yourself a specialist or just a specialist in being happy?
Yeah, I'm not sure I can say I'm a specialist in one thing because I like too many industries right now. But yeah, specialist in being happy and just specialized in streamlining like outsourced accounting services, like the bookkeeping level to month-end close. I feel like we do that pretty tightly.
There's a lot of confidence in the way that you're approaching this too. Where does that come? Have you always been a confident person?
Gosh, I'm like not confident in anything else. I mean, I guess I'm confident in like being a mom. I'm confident in reading books, and I'm confident in running an accounting firm. Just those
All right.
three.
Look, if you could be confident in three things and be good at three things, that's business, life, and
Reading.
family, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. But you found the thing that you love accidentally. You could have been in fashion. You probably would have resented that, and that wouldn't have been cool. You found this, and you also building a community around that too, because I think that's what this happy accountant is going to turn into, is a community of like-minded accountants that find happiness in doing the thing that they have to do to survive, right? We all have to work to survive. Why can't we be
Yeah.
happy doing it?
100%.
Dope.
Yeah.
What does the future hold for the happy accountant? Where do you think that's going to be this time next year?
So, the happy accountant overall, I want the firm to be running where I'm not running everything. So, the people to run most of the things. And then be a happy accountant. I'll have my course out hopefully this summer. So, that'll be hopefully people are learning how to do that. And I know another thing with that is I do want to take on limited consulting with that. Like, hey, I will be your accounting BFF for a few months to help you and hold you accountable to building this. And community you mentioned, that is something I'm doing with a partner. I'm not going to go solo on this one. And there's a community in the works.
Oh, okay. Okay. So stay tuned for that, students. Give our students some advice on how they can be happier. I'm going to summarize first the three main things. Don't do taxes, don't track time, and stop saying yes. Say no more. Those three things probably could get you pretty far. Now, some of our students, you can't get out of it. I can't get out of doing taxes. Our firm was built on that. So I've already got one strike against me. We also track time, but we are saying no more. Maybe that's the source of any seated unhappiness that we have or disgruntledness. I can go back and look at that. But how about for our listeners? Some of the things I've missed, maybe.
You know, even people who want to do taxes, they can do that and be happy. Like, I won't do that and be happy, but I did do a post. Here's how you can build a tax firm and make it efficient and have recurring revenue, spread things out so it's not all just concentrated in one spot. That's what about taxes didn't make me happy. So I found something that isn't all concentrated in one area. So I think finding what about accounting, if that's what you're doing, you don't like, how can you fix that with what other firms are doing? That's what I was doing all these past years and trying to find places that then solved that problem. And then I found pieces of that in other places and put all the pieces together in my own place. So that was just all me finding what things I didn't like about it and making a solve for them.
So you did the hack. You find the things that you don't like and do the opposite of that, or stay as far away from that as you can, and you will find happiness. That's at least one of the things too. This is awesome. I wish you the best of luck on your journey too, because this is a journey. This pursuit of happiness and staying happy is a journey, and it does require constant work. I don't think you're naturally this happy. You do have to work at it, and that's why it works. You did something brilliant. You made it part of your brand, so you can't escape it ever.
No.
So if it ever starts to fade, somebody else is going to remind you that you're the happy accountant. You can't be angry. You can't get upset.
Yeah.
You can't complain. Yeah. There's a lot of wisdom there too. So thank you for spending the time and joining us at Accounting High. Our students really appreciate it. Where can they find you? What should they look for?
All right. Well, on LinkedIn, I am Samantha Musser CPA. I'm that on Instagram too, trying my hand at Instagram. It's a whole different world. And chime.cpa is my website, or beahappyaccountant.com.
Thanks a lot, Sam. Appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Peace out, students. Class dismissed.